Have you ever noticed how someone can live in your head long after they've left your life? It's not just you. Neuroscience shows that heartbreak and rejection light up the same brain regions as physical pain. That's why it feels impossible to stop replaying memories or imagining what-ifs. But here's the good news. Your brain is flexible. Psychologists now call this neuroplasticity in action, meaning you can rewire the thought loops that keep you stuck. The truth is, obsession over someone isn't a sign of weakness. It's a mix of unfinished emotional business, dopamine cravings, and habits of attention. In this video, I'll share 10 secret, science-backed techniques to finally stop thinking about someone for good. Whether it's an ex, a crush, or a situationship, these methods work because they're grounded in the latest psychological research, not cliches. And trust me, number 10 is the step most people skip, and that's exactly why they stay trapped. Technique 1. Close the loop. Defeat the Zeigarnik trap. Have you ever noticed how unfinished stories keep replaying in your head? Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect, the brain's tendency to hold on to things that feel incomplete. That's why breakups, missed chances, or unanswered what-ifs stick like glue. The fix isn't to push those thoughts away, it's to close the loop. Recent studies show that even creating a simple plan gives the brain a sense of completion and reduces obsessive thinking. So write down your decision, your boundary, and the next few steps you'll take. You don't need their approval, you need your own clarity, because once the loop is closed, your mind finally has permission to move forward. Technique 2. Reality reboot. Reappraise the story, not the person. When someone stays on your mind, it's rarely the person you're obsessing over. It's the story you've built around them. Our brains love to romanticize, painting them as either the best thing that ever happened or the worst mistake we ever made. But neither extreme is reality. Recent psychological research on cognitive reappraisal shows that the way you frame your thoughts directly shapes how strongly they control you. So here's the reset. Take a sheet of paper and make 2 columns. On one side, write down the facts you know. On the other, list the stories you're telling yourself. For example, they made me laugh is a fact. I'll never find anyone like them again. That's just a story. When you see the difference, the illusion starts to break. You stop idolizing, you stop demonizing, and you begin to see them as just another human being. That's the power of a reality reboot. Technique 3. Thoughts not equal to orders, act diffusion. One of the biggest traps after a breakup or rejection is believing every thought your mind throws at you. Text them one more time. You'll never feel this way again. But here's the truth. Thoughts are not orders. They're just mental events. Acceptance and commitment. Therapy, or ACT, teaches a skill called cognitive diffusion. Instead of wrestling with a thought, you step back and label it. I'm having the thought that I'll never move on. That small shift creates distance. The thought loses its power because you're no longer fused with it. Try this simple drill. Imagine your thoughts floating by on a conveyor belt. Don't chase them. Don't fight them. Just notice them pass. Recent studies show this technique lowers the emotional grip of intrusive thinking and helps people regain control. Remember, your mind can shout, but you decide whether to obey. Thoughts aren't commands. They're just passing clouds. Technique 4. Write to release, expressive writing, acceptance boosted. When your mind feels like chaos, writing is one of the fastest ways to create order. Psychologists call this expressive writing, taking the tangled thoughts in your head and putting them on paper. Studies show that writing for just 15 minutes a day over 3 days can reduce obsessive thinking and even improve emotional health. But here's the key. Don't just vent, end with acceptance. After you've poured everything out, add a few lines like, I accept that I feel hurt right now, and that's okay. This small shift rewires your brain from resistance to release. When you write it down, the burden moves from your head to the page. And when you add acceptance, you give yourself permission to finally breathe. That's why journaling isn't just a hobby. It's a proven pathway to peace. Technique 5. Behavioral activation microdoses. One of the sneakiest reasons we keep thinking about someone is because our brain has built a habit around it. Every quiet moment becomes a trigger. That's where behavioral activation comes in, a proven therapy technique for breaking rumination loops. But here's the twist. You don't need big life changes to feel better. Start with micro doses of activity. Instead of scrolling and sinking deeper into thoughts, commit to small actions that lift your energy. Take a 10-minute walk, do 20 push-ups, call a friend, even tidy a single drawer. Research shows that these micro acts of engagement signal your brain to release dopamine and shift attention away from unhelpful thoughts. Over time, these tiny choices build momentum and retrain your mind to look forward, not backward. Remember, you don't break a thinking trap by waiting. You break it by moving, one small step at a time. Technique 6. Meet the real need. Often we believe we're obsessed with a person, but psychology shows we're actually craving the need they seem to meet. Maybe it was comfort, validation, or simply feeling seen. When that person leaves, the brain keeps chasing them, thinking they're the only source of that feeling. Here's the breakthrough. Don't fight the craving, redirect it. If you needed connection, schedule regular time with trusted friends. If you needed validation, pursue small wins that build confidence. When you meet the real need directly, the person loses their power over you. Recent research in social psychology shows that healthy connection, whether through friendships, groups, or even volunteering, cuts rumination almost in half. Why? Because your brain finally gets the nourishment it was seeking all along. So ask yourself, what was I really getting from them? Then give yourself permission to meet that need in healthier, lasting ways. Technique 7. No contact plus environment design. One of the hardest truths in psychology is this. You can't heal in the same environment that keeps wounding you. If you keep checking their social media, holding on to gifts, or walking the same streets you shared, your brain will constantly be re-triggered. That's why the no contact rule is so powerful. But it works even better when you pair it with environment design. Remove photos, mute their profiles, and rearrange your physical space to signal a fresh start. Research on habit formation shows that environment often predicts behavior more than willpower. Think of it like this. If your mind is a garden, no contact pulls the weeds, and environment design plants new seeds. Together, they create space where healing isn't a daily battle, but a natural process. Technique 8. Mindfulness in motion. Here's a surprising truth. Trying to stop thoughts by sitting still often makes them louder. That's where mindfulness in motion comes in. Instead of forcing silence, you move with awareness. Go for a walk, stretch, even wash dishes. But keep your focus on the sensations, the rhythm, the present moment. Recent neuroscience shows that mindful movement reduces activity in the brain's default mode network, the very system responsible for overthinking and replaying memories. In other words, by syncing body and mind in motion, you starve the obsession of oxygen. The goal isn't to erase the thought of that person, but to teach your brain it can notice the thought without being ruled by it. Every mindful step is proof. You are here, you are present, and you are free. Technique 9. Gratitude shift, but make it specific. When someone dominates your thoughts, your brain tends to exaggerate their importance. Gratitude is the antidote, but here's the catch. It only works if it's specific. Instead of a vague, "I'm grateful for my friends," write down one concrete thing. A friend who checked in yesterday, a laugh you shared, or even the way the morning light hit your window. Research in positive psychology shows that specific gratitude interrupts rumination far more effectively than broad lists. Why? Because it forces your attention onto a vivid, grounded memory that competes with the mental replay of that person. Each time your mind drifts back to them, gently shift it. Yes, they mattered, but so does this other moment, right here, right now. Over time, your mental spotlight moves away from obsession and shines on the richness of your real life. Technique 10. Time plus self-compassion protocol. The final and perhaps most underestimated tool is this: time partnered with self-compassion. Neuroscience confirms that emotional pain, especially attachment loss, activates the same brain regions as physical pain, which means healing isn't instant, it's a process. But here's the mistake most people make. They fight the clock, they beat themselves up for not moving on fast enough. Instead, apply the self-compassion protocol. When the thought comes, respond the way you would to a hurting friend. It's okay. Healing takes time. I'm allowed to feel this and still grow beyond it. Research from Kristen Neff on self-compassion shows it lowers cortisol and increases resilience far more than self-criticism ever could. Time doesn't just dull the pain, it works with your kindness toward yourself to rewire the emotional memory. Every day you choose patience over punishment, you're not just waiting to heal, you're actively shaping a healthier, freer future. Now that you've seen all 10 science-backed ways to stop thinking about someone for good, here's the key. Pick one technique and start today. You don't need to do everything at once. Small, consistent steps create real change. I want to hear from you. Which technique are you trying first? Closing the loop, reality reboot, or maybe mindfulness in motion? Drop it in the comments so we can start a conversation and support each other. And if you want a step-by-step guide to put these secrets into practice, check the link in the description for a free healing action plan. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss tips backed by psychology that actually work. Remember, your mind can replay the past, but with the right tools, you get to choose what stays and what goes.